first movie with no money. No one else is gonna tell you because no one else is as crazy as me. These are things I've learned and mistakes I've made making my very first movie. I have 5 levels to making your first movie with no cash. Level 0. Thought we were gonna start with level 1, didn't you? Well, you don't. You have to start with 0, meaning 0 moolah. Get fired from your job, get laid off like I did. So if you got a bunch of resources and cash, then go watch a different video. Hit that unsubscribe button and get out of here. I'm assuming that you're broke and poor and hoping to make a movie still, so let's go down to level 1. Don't do it alone. When I told my wife I wanted to make movies and films, she gave this powerful insight. Of the prior companies I've started, the hoverboard business, the candy forest business, the advertising business, the web design business, the children's book, and all the other failed business attempts I've tried, they all had one thing in common. Me. But she was right, and I realized if I wanted to do this, I shouldn't be doing it alone. I shouldn't try to be every actor and play every role in a film I was trying to make. So the first person that came to my mind was my cousin Dylan. He's gone on to do professional acting, and I took him to lunch and I asked him if he would be willing to make a superhero TV show / movie with me. Tell everyone you know that you're making this film. Ask for help, get support, surround yourself with friends and family. Which I don't have very many friends, so here we are with family. Let me show you who's in the show. My cousin, dad, grandpa, mom, cousin, aunt, cousin, brother-in-law, and Sam. He's not family, but we're grateful for Sam. Level 2. Stretch your resources to make them look bigger. Or you're not gonna believe this, but I had a scene written where a fire truck and police cars show up at a house right after a fire. And I had no idea how I was gonna get a fire truck for this scene. As we were filming, I could hear a fire truck in the distance. I thought, oh, how cool would it be if they happened to drive down our street? They did. That was like divine help. Like that, like was like, wow, this is awesome. It was awesome, except for whoever actually needed the fire department to come. I'm sorry for them. For my scenes that had police cars, I couldn't always rely on police cars just showing up. I just used my mom's white car, and then I just photoshopped police stuff onto the car to make it look like they were police cars. For my SWAT guys, I only had one gun, helmet, and costume. So what I did is I duplicated the same guy to make scenes look bigger than they actually were. It looks like we have an entire SWAT team, but it's really just one guy. I also had my characters play more than one role. Here he's a police guy, and later here he is as a criminal, or this guy as a mugger and also as a police. Or the main character plays both the good guy, the bad guy, a thug, and a SWAT guy. And I knew I was doing it right when I would show these things to my family and they would be like, who is that? Everything we filmed, which looks like lots of diverse locations, all were filmed in the same area. We just used whatever resources and stuff or junk we could find around. There's one case that we weren't in the same area, and that's when we decided to film in downtown Salt Lake City, which was actually extremely difficult, which moves on to our next level, level 3. Be a better director. Good directors have good locations for their talent to work in. How awkward it would be to make my character, who was going to be fighting himself, fight and argue in the middle of the street in front of a public audience.
Just hold. Just wait. Just wait for people to pass and stuff.
Take the time to go and scout out where the locations are. How does it sound? What does it look like? How busy is it before you just assume that you can make things work? Coaching also matters as the director. I used to just be like, oh, here's the rough outline of what we're going after. Let's just go for it. And I would start filming. And we'd end up with scenes that weren't very good. I also started with very rough outlines for scripts and dialogues. And I didn't really care how closely we followed as long as it was along the general lines. My scripts became a lot more complex the further we went because I found that it helped my actors understand the emotion and context, the story, and what I had envisioned that would help prepare them. The other thing I did, even though everyone in it is my family and I love and care about them, is I was very upfront and honest about it and said, if I do not like what we shot here, I was going to cut it or reshoot it or recast it with someone else. Level 4. Let's talk about props. I only had one mask for the bad guy, and when we lost it, we had to create a new one.
Alright, so we're about halfway done filming Day Hero, and we lost the black mask, so we have to make our own, because we're shooting today, and we don't know where to buy one, so here we are, you know. This is what we do. Low budget. Ow. Poke myself in the eye. Where did I puncture the hole? Let's try this again. Kids, don't do this at home. I'm crazy. Shush. Shush. It's gonna work fine.
The knife we used in this scene was actually a real knife. I kind of wish we would have had a prop because this slow motion superhero scene, our actor accidentally grabbed the blade of the knife and cut his finger. We used real stunts that actually got people really hurt. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Hopefully it look good.
When we needed rain, we just filmed when it was raining. And when it wasn't raining hard enough, we just sprinkled water on our heads. Before I tell you the last level tip, there's something I need to say. I had a nice corporate job, making $115,000 to $125,000 a year. The best part was I got to make some awesome training videos. Yes, I did actually punch a couple monitors. For training purposes, of course. But owning my own film company was my dream. I wanted the freedom where I no longer had to let others dictate what I would do. And I wanted to make the best films on the planet. I couldn't just quit my job. I mean, I had a family to provide for. So I started working on the superhero film slowly on the side. A few early mornings here and some weekends there. But when life got busier and busier, my dreams of making movies were always placed on the back burner. And honestly, it probably would have stayed that way for a while. I'd just be one of those people who always says they're gonna go make movies, but never actually go out and do it. But what actually helped me make the switch were trials. Hard things in life that all happened at the same time actually made me a better person. In the past couple of months, my wife was diagnosed with a chronic illness. My cars, dishwashers, washing machine, air conditioning, all broke down. I've had to deal with some difficult family deaths, and I was let go from my job. You know what the craziest part of all of this was? Sure, it was stressful, but I felt a lot of peace. It may seem like the worst time to start making movies. When my work told me that I'd be laid off, the feeling many would expect me to have is devastation or disappointment. But I felt gratitude. This is one of the nudges I needed to go out and be on my own. So I went all in into finishing my first movie. Sure, I spent next to nothing making Day Hero, but it also has made me nothing. And eventually, all of my bills have come due. I had to make a choice, keep filmmaking as my main priority, or go find another job. But I wanted to know if I could make it. If I gave my all, no retreat, no surrender, no way back, hold nothing back, could I make it? So it's at this moment, we made the decision to sell our home. And I made this video just last week. I sold my house right here behind me to be a YouTuber. Just 1 year ago, I reached 40 subscribers. And today, I got just over 500, which is enough to make exactly $0. Every Thursday, I'm gonna make tutorials about how to become a superhero, how to do special effects. Leave a comment below what you think. Would you be willing to sell your house and quit your job and leave everything you have to try to become a YouTuber? It was on this video, I got this comment here from Lord Holloway. Bro, how do I message you? Curious what he had to say. I gave him my email and he told me this. Hello Dalen, just wanted to say your videos on YouTube are great, but as a fellow YouTuber myself, I'd recommend you make attractive thumbnails. And I was like, all right, it's good advice. But who is this guy who thinks he can tell me how to make better thumbnails? I mean, mine aren't great, but I went on to see his channel to see what his thumbnails were like. Oh wow, these are really good. Humbled, I only had one thing left to do. Try to hire him to make my thumbnails too. And I'm happy to say that this video's thumbnail was made by Lord Holloway. So a massive shout out to this talented guy. If you want to see his amazing thumbnails and some downright funny and entertaining comment, there's a link to his channel in my description. Go there and subscribe to this up and coming YouTuber, because this dude at age 15 from Ghana is going places. All right, back to the next step. Level 5. Let's talk about film gear. For our camera, we just used my phone. I know it's not some brand new phone, it's an old crusty one that I've had for several years. And so anytime I was with an actor who had a better phone than I did, we used their phone to film. For lighting, most of the time we used just the sun. Even if I had scenes that happened at night, we just shot them in the day and then I would just color grade them later to try to make them look like night or evening scenes. My main point is that you don't need to wait and for all your ducks to be in a row to start creating something. You can go now and create your very first show, your first TV series, your first movie with the assets and resources you have. Someone recently told me about one of the movie's ideas that they want to make and they asked me for advice. After I asked if I could be completely honest, I told them my advice was stop telling people what your idea is and just go and create it. They also asked me if we ever should be worried about people stealing our movie ideas. And my answer is no. The problem is not a shortage of ideas, that if you have a unique idea and you share it out there, someone's going to just steal it or rip it off you. While that could happen, I really don't think that ideas are that powerful. Hear me out. Those who are going to make the difference are not those who have the greatest ideas. It's going to be those who try to implement their ideas. So go out there and make something super.